Alright, this is going to be a little bit of a different video than I normally post. I just wanted to give a little update on the channel, a little update, some future plans, and just a little bit of behind the scenes of what's been going on for the past year. Yeah, so I plan to keep doing a weekly video, at least try to. I do want to try to get into streaming more often. Not sure what I'll stream, I just know I do want to stream more often. And speaking of the channel, I've been posting videos for almost a year. I started this channel on September 9th. Those are the first video, completely different to the type of videos I make now, editing wise. This is the first one September 9th, and the second one up September 19th, but then the third one went up October 23rd. Small month gap. The reason why, because last year, towards the end of September, there was a hurricane through my area. Hurricane Helene. Hurricane Helene was different, it was much stronger. So like around midnight, September 26th, that's when we lost power, which is a normal thing for hurricanes. But with the power out, we were all just in our living room, just waiting it out. I don't know how to describe it, but I don't know how to word this, but like the winds were really starting to pick up. They're really loud and really fast to the point where you could actually hear it just from inside. And it was very unnerving to hear. Yeah, as the night went on, like around 2 in the morning, we hear a loud crash coming from like the kitchen. Before we knew what happened, we just assumed something came through the kitchen window and broke. At least that's what it sounded like. We get up to go investigate the loud crash. Something we didn't expect. A whole tree from my neighbor's yard landed on our house, and it kind of created a hole above the kitchen window. With the hole in the house, like a ton of rain from the hurricane just came pouring in. It was so much. It's like the tree hit a water line with how much water was just pouring in. We all quickly try to like get as many buckets, pots, and pans to try to collect the water and minimize water damage. It just kept pouring in. There was so much and there was so little that we could do. At first it was just coming through like the hole where the tree hit, but then more and more water came pouring in. It came like through like the kitchen lights, came through the air vents, and it was going everywhere. It was hidden. It was going through like the garage, the kitchen, the laundry room, all that. Try to contain as much water as we could. It was just bad. But then we were debating whether to leave or stay. By this point, power was gone. It was pitch black outside, no street lights, no nothing, so we couldn't tell the state of the streets or like if they were safe. We decided on staying in rather than just risk going out into the unknown. I'll come back to this later. So like 3 a.m. it calmed down, like where the rain calmed down. Put a photo on screen of what it looked like. Yeah, it was bad. So everything was calming down. The weirdest and worst part of this is that, like in the middle of the night, like 4 in the morning, there's a knock on the door. That's something you want to hear. A knock at the door at 4 in the morning after a hurricane and tree hit your house, right? It was just a neighbor asking for a flashlight. God, it was so scary to hear a knock at 4 in the morning. Like after everything that happened, we stepped outside to like see the damage. We couldn't because it was pitch black, 4 in the morning. But we stepped outside. It was like a rainforest. That's what it looked like. It was pitch black. There was just foliage everywhere. It looked like a rainforest. 5 in the morning, like everything calmed down. There was nothing. Everything was all good. Good as it could be. But like at this point, power was out. It was so hot in the house, and everything calmed down enough to where we were able to get a little bit of sleep after the crazy night we had all gone through. Try to get sleep. It was very hot, very uncomfortable. It was just a bad night, a bad day overall. In the morning after, we woke up, still pots, pans, and buckets everywhere with dirty rainwater. Like walked to the kitchen. There was a big crack on like big crack in the middle of the ceiling. And the whole kitchen reeked of pine, like fresh pine, in the worst way possible. It was bad. It was awful. To this day, I still don't like the smell of pine. And then with daylight, we were able to see how big the tree was that hit our house. I'll go ahead and put a picture on the screen. Yeah, that's the tree that hit our house. It wasn't no tall, or wasn't no small tree. It wasn't even on our property. It was our neighbor's house. It was from our neighbor's yard. Or the year before, we had a tall pine tree removed from our backyard because we were just didn't want it there after a previous hurricane. Remember when I said that we were debating on leaving or staying? Turns out if we had decided to leave, we couldn't go anywhere. Our neighborhood was blocked off with downed trees. There was nowhere we could have gone. There was downed trees on both exits. It wasn't just our neighborhood, the entire city was trashed. Power lines down, trees on houses. It was bad all around. There was no time frame on when we were gonna get power, so we went and got a generator. Thankfully, we had the main things plugged in: the fridge, freezer, and then a couple fans, because God, it was hot. And then we did manage to get power after like a week. It was either 7 or 8 days after the hurricane was when we got power back. And then we got internet like 3 weeks after, which kind of adds up to why there was a month gap between videos. Aftermath for our house, essentially half the house had water damage. And with water damage, you have to like dry out as much as... So we had to move half the house out in 2 days. 2 days, we had to move half the house out in order for the construction guys to start drying the house. I'll go ahead and put a couple pictures on screen of like the bare bones of the house and the house being dried. 2 days later, on the 29th, that's when we had the tree removed from the house in order for the house to be tarped. Since since there was a rainstorm forecasted later in the week, and we didn't want more water damage, so we need to get a tarp on the house as soon as possible. And then we did. We did end up getting the house tarped. But one thing about that whole process, there was a hole in the tarp, and so each time it would rain, it would leak. We had a bucket ready to catch it, but it was just like a weekly occurrence where they'd come back, fix it, and it'd still leak. It took them like 4 tries to get the house tarped properly with no more rain coming through the house. And then another thing, with half the house gone, like normal things like doing laundry, or just like we had no kitchen, no garage, no dining room. So like every week we had to go to a packed laundromat to try to wash our clothes, right? It was awful. A process I never want to do again. And just living with half a house for a year sucked. Not 0 to 10, would not recommend, right? We just didn't have a time frame on when the house would be fixed. We were hoping it'd be a year soon. Not take a whole year. Since we had half a house, we couldn't really do things for the holidays. Kind of sucked not having traditional holidays, right? But I mean, we had family. It was great. After almost 1 year since the hurricane, the house is finally good. It's finally fixed for the most part. There's a couple like little small things, but for the most part, it's done. Sure was an experience. One I don't want to experience again. You guys should totally sub so we can, move to a different area with no trees nearby. As I'm making this video, we're nearing hurricane season again, so yay, yippee. Very thankful to be in a position where I can post videos on a weekly basis. Very thankful for all the support I've gotten from these videos on all platforms. And I'm very thankful for my close friends. These videos wouldn't be the same without them. And that's about it. I'll see you guys later.